Hey there, fellow soil enthusiasts! Welcome back to Soil Sage Chronicles, where we dig deep into the secrets of nurturing our gardens naturally. Today I'm sharing something that's revolutionized my gardening journey. 6 incredibly effective homemade organic fertilizers that cost pennies to make, but deliver results that rival expensive commercial products. After years of experimenting in my own garden and hearing from countless gardeners in our community, I've discovered that the best plant nutrition often comes from ingredients you already have at home. These aren't just feel-good, eco-friendly alternatives. They're powerhouse fertilizers that will have your plants thriving like never before. Let's start with my absolute favorite used coffee grounds. I can't tell you how many mornings I've stood in my kitchen, coffee in hand, looking at those spent grounds and knowing I was holding garden gold. Coffee grounds are packed with nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, plus they improve soil structure and attract beneficial earthworms. The magic happens when you mix your used coffee grounds with brown materials like dried leaves or shredded paper in a 1:3 ratio. I like to let this mixture compost for about 2 weeks before applying it around my plants. The slightly acidic nature makes it perfect for acid-loving plants like blueberries, azaleas, and tomatoes. Here's what I've learned through trial and error. Never apply fresh coffee grounds directly to your soil. They can be too acidic and might inhibit plant growth. Always compost them first or mix them into your regular compost pile. Your plants will thank you for the patience and you'll see the difference in their vibrant green foliage. This one always gets people excited because it's so simple yet so effective. Banana peels are potassium gold mines, and potassium is crucial for flower and fruit development, disease resistance, and overall plant vigor. I've been using this method for 3 growing seasons now, and my tomato harvests have been absolutely incredible. The technique I swear by is the banana peel tea method. Chop up 3 to 4 banana peels and steep them in a quart of water for 48 hours. The resulting liquid fertilizer is gentle enough to use weekly during the growing season. I strain out the peels and use them in my compost so nothing goes to waste. For a slower release approach, I bury chopped banana peels directly around my rose bushes and flowering perennials in early spring. As they decompose throughout the season, they provide a steady supply of potassium right where the roots need it most. The improvement in bloom quality and quantity is remarkable. Calcium deficiency shows up in heartbreaking ways: blossom end rot on tomatoes, bitter pit in apples, and weak cell walls that make plants susceptible to disease. That's where eggshells become your garden's best friend. I've been collecting and using eggshells for years, and the transformation in my vegetable garden has been phenomenal. The key is proper preparation. I rinse my eggshells thoroughly, let them dry completely, then crush them into small pieces. You can use a rolling pin, blender, or even a mortar and pestle. I like them fairly fine, about the size of coarse sand, because they break down more readily in the soil. I work crushed eggshells directly into my planting holes when transplanting seedlings, especially tomatoes, peppers, and eggplants. For established plants, I scratch the crushed shells into the soil around the root zone every few weeks during the growing season. The slow-release calcium helps prevent those devastating calcium deficiency disorders that can ruin an entire harvest. Magnesium sulfate, commonly known as Epsom salt, has transformed how I approach plant nutrition, particularly for my container gardens and houseplants. Magnesium is the central atom in chlorophyll molecules, so when plants are magnesium deficient, you'll notice yellowing leaves with green veins, a clear cry for help. My go-to recipe is dissolving 1 tablespoon of Epsom salt in a gallon of water for a monthly soil drench. For foliar feeding, I use half that concentration and spray in the early morning or late evening to avoid leaf burn. The response is often dramatic. Within a week or 2, you'll see deeper green foliage and improved overall plant vigor. I've found Epsom salt particularly effective for peppers, tomatoes, and roses. My pepper plants, which used to struggle with yellowing leaves mid-season, now maintain their lush green color throughout the entire growing period. The key is consistency. I mark my calendar for monthly applications rather than waiting for deficiency symptoms to appear. This is where the real magic happens, and it's become my secret weapon for giving plants an immediate nutrient boost while building long-term soil health. Compost tea is essentially a liquid extract of all the beneficial nutrients and microorganisms in your compost pile. My brewing method has evolved over the years, but here's what works best. I fill a 5-gallon bucket with water and let it sit overnight to dechlorinate. Then I add about 2 cups of well-aged compost in a burlap sack or old pillowcase, securing it so it can steep like a giant tea bag. I let this brew for 24 to 48 hours, stirring occasionally. The resulting liquid is teeming with beneficial bacteria, fungi, and nutrients that plants can absorb immediately. I dilute it to the color of weak tea before applying. You want it to look like light iced tea, not dark coffee. I use this as both a soil drench and foliar spray every 2 weeks during the active growing season. What I love most about compost tea is its versatility. It works for everything from seedlings to mature fruit trees, and because it's alive with beneficial microorganisms, it actually helps improve soil biology over time. My plants show increased disease resistance and overall vitality compared to when I relied solely on dry fertilizers. Now, I know commercial fish emulsion can be expensive and incredibly smelly, but you can make your own version that's just as effective and much more pleasant to work with. This homemade approach uses fish scraps that would otherwise go to waste, creating a nitrogen-rich fertilizer that plants absolutely love. I save fish heads, bones, and scraps in my freezer until I have enough to make a batch. I bury these scraps about 12 inches deep in a designated area of my compost pile, mixed with plenty of brown materials like leaves and shredded paper. The composting process eliminates the smell while breaking down the fish into readily available nutrients. After about 3 months, I have rich dark compost that's incredibly high in nitrogen and trace minerals. I use this fish compost as a side dressing for heavy feeders like corn, squash, and leafy greens. The results speak for themselves: darker green foliage, faster growth, and significantly improved yields. For those who want a liquid version, you can make fish bone meal tea by steeping the finished fish compost in water for 24 hours, then straining and diluting before application. This provides quick-acting nutrients while still being gentle enough for regular use. The beauty of these homemade fertilizers lies not just in their individual effectiveness, but in how they work together to create a comprehensive nutrition program for your garden. I rotate between different fertilizers throughout the season, matching the nutrients to what my plants need at different growth stages. Spring calls for nitrogen-rich coffee ground compost and fish-based fertilizers to support vigorous growth. As plants begin flowering and fruiting, I shift toward banana peel potassium and calcium-rich eggshell amendments. Throughout the season, compost tea and Epsom salt provide steady nutrition and micronutrient support. What's truly exciting is watching your soil improve year after year. These organic fertilizers don't just feed your plants, they feed your soil's ecosystem, creating a living, breathing foundation that supports healthier, more resilient plants naturally. Ready to transform your garden with these powerful homemade fertilizers? Try starting with just 1 or 2 that appeal to you most, then gradually incorporate the others as you see the amazing results. Your plants will reward you with vigorous growth, abundant harvests, and the satisfaction of knowing you're gardening in harmony with nature. If this article helped you discover new ways to nourish your garden naturally, don't forget to subscribe to Soil Sage Chronicles for more practical gardening wisdom, and share this with fellow gardeners who are ready to unlock their soil's potential. Together, we're growing more than just plants. We're cultivating a deeper connection with the earth beneath our feet.